I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Frank. We are here in Landmark Mission Camp in Arkansas, and I just want to make some questions to you as a new person involved in the program. I would like to know exactly, or in your own words, how did you become involved in Landmark?
I did. I went one day and I actually thought it'd be impossible for me to learn all the things that you have to say to people. But I also thought it was very interesting because I saw that what we're taking to the houses is good stuff, health stuff, Christian stuff. And I think that it's a lot of help to the people and it's something that people need. And if it wasn't for colporteurs, they wouldn't be getting that stuff. So I thought that God was calling me to do that.
I heard that you has a very successful week, your first week canvassing. How was that?
I said, God, I don't know what I'm going to say. I haven't memorized everything, but I have to speak. So speak through me. And for the first time, I would say in my life, I felt that God was speaking through me to somebody else.
You saying the first time of your life you were feeling that God was talking through you, like you were being used as an instrument?
Yes.
And you're saying before, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, that you were Seventh-day Adventist since you were a kid. How was that?
Well, I was born into the Seventh-day Adventist religion, and I've always been involved in church. I've done, I've worked with the youth, I've done Sabbath school and all that stuff. And I feel like, I believe in the Seventh-day Adventist religion, but I never feel like God is actually saying, Ruth, I'm using you and I'm speaking through you. For the first time I felt that God was actually just taking my body, my person, but speaking through me. It wasn't me that was speaking. Because like I was telling you, when I went into that house, I didn't feel like I was speaking. I wasn't thinking. At the end of the day, I was like, wow, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I said to people that day. But I know it got through. Because at every house, I sold, a collection. And it was a real blessing because at the end of the day, Rodrigo, which is my boyfriend, he's one of the colporteurs from Brazil, he asked me, so how did your day go? And I said, it went great. I don't know how because I didn't know. He was like, well, see, you were scared. And I said, I know, but it wasn't me that was speaking. I felt that I wasn't thinking. I was just going through the whole thing without stuttering, without thinking about anything, without forgetting anything. So I know for sure that it was God that was.
So now, how does it feel? I'm putting in perspective, Areli, before and after Latin America, you're saying that you were a kid, like a Seventh-day Adventist kid, that who never experienced working or feeling God's working on your heart. And now you're saying that when you knocked the first door, you start talking like normally, and you felt that you were used by God. How does it feel now?
Well, it feels great because I've never had that before. Being a Seventh-day Adventist all my life, I hear a lot of people say, oh, God spoke through me. I could feel God's presence. And, I've prayed a lot and I believe in God and I know that He's there. But I have honestly never really felt God. I've known He's there the whole time, but I've never had an experience like I have now colporting.
You think that the same experience you had being a Christian in a church and regularly attending the church, and your parents were also Christian, Seventh-day Adventists, do you think that there will be or there are more youth like you in any other church?
I do. I think there's actually more than what we think there are.
And what would you tell them? What would you what will be the message that you will share with them about your own experience?
I would have to tell them to invite them to come and have an actual experience with God. Because sometimes we pray every day, but with colporting, you just pray so much more. I've learned that because, you're with God every step of the way. You can't stop talking to God. You can't not talk to God because you need Him everywhere you're going. And so I would invite them to to come and colport and to actually experience.
Now, talking to you came to my mind. You have a regular. This is your first experience canvassing, and it came to my mind. How do you feel about the financial situation? To you, it's you have a part-time job, you have a full-time job, you're in college. What do you do, and what will be the impact on going on your own with God's hands and staying where you are?
Actually, that's an interesting question because before I started colporting, I'm a full-time student and I'm also doing an internship in a hospital. So I'm going to school full-time, then I have to go to my internship, then I have to do all the homework for school. So I told him, I said, there's no way I have time in my schedule for colporting. I can't do it. I didn't even have a job because I couldn't fit everything in my schedule. I live 2 hours from my school, so I have to drive 2 hours, go to school full-time, go back, do homework, do my internship. So I said, there's no way I have time. But also, I do have bills to pay, and I said, well, I have to do something. And Pastor Richard was telling me, he's like, colporting, it's a real blessing, and you also get an extra gift, which is you get money out of it. And my first week, it went so well. I was like, wow, I could become rich out of colporting. I don't even have to go to school anymore.
How do you see now your experience? How do you see Arely with God?
I feel like we are a lot closer. I find myself praying so much more than I used to. I get on my knees and, first I can't not thank God, after everything that He helps me through the whole day, speaking to people, and He always helps me find what to say to them. Sometimes they ask me questions that I don't know, but I say something that comforts them or helps them in some way. So I can't get home and not get on my knees and thank God. It's impossible,
Right.
So I drive in my car and I'm just saying, God, thank you for all of this that you're doing for me. I can't believe what I'm going through.
I see when you speak, it's kind of a joy inside of you, and you reflect that. Do you think this is before, or this is?
No, it's definitely, I know. I don't have a doubt that colporting has brought me closer to God and has brought joy to my life. And even in school, I was like, if I colport, I'm going to have less time to study. I'm going to have less time to spend with my family. But I get home and I go to my parents' room and I sit down and they ask me, so what happened today? My dad's always waiting because he knows that every day I'm going to have some experience. And colporting is helping me not only with colporting, but it's helping me in school. I get to school and I feel like I'm more open-minded. And at the hospital, it's helping me a lot with my patients. I have a lot more to say to them, a lot more things that are comforting to them. I'm not only working with them, but I talk to them about God and, what He's done in my life. And a lot of them, I talk to them about health and how to eat. And that's stuff that I didn't know, even though I'm studying, health stuff.
Do you think you will get discouraged, or have you ever been discouraged since the moment you decide to join Latin America?
I wouldn't say discouraged of colporting and of being part of the Light America.
Like people have said, are you crazy?
Yeah,
you can survive with that.
I've had days that I don't sell anything. At the end of the day, I'm like, oh, it was so good the first week and it's not good anymore. But it does discourage me a little bit sometimes, but then, like the pastor was saying, you look back and count the blessings and they just go way over, your day. So I don't think that there's anything that could stop
me. As the enemy
me.
tells you, whispering into your ear saying, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
Well, my dad used to colport and it didn't go well for him. And so I keep trying to get him to colport, but he's like, no, colporting is not for me. And I'm like, it wasn't for me either, and I'm here. And Rodrigo, he was telling me how Ellen G. White says that colporters are the last, people that are going to be preaching the gospel or distributing stuff, and I want to be part of that. So I'm not going to get discouraged because that's the only way I'm going to be part of that.